Ahsoka episode 7 is in the history books, and we got one episode left, episode 8. I think episode 7 was a step down from episode 6 and 5 because they were just so great. But they're building up to the big finale. So on today's video, I'm joined once again by Mike here from Laughing Stock Media and Cinema. And we're going to be not only talking about episode 7, we're going to be previewing episode 8, giving our predictions. Please feel free to give your predictions in the comments down below, as well as leave a like on the video because it does help me out quite a bit. And don't forget to check out Mike's channels as well. So Mike, episode 7, man, the reunion between Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine. It's all happened. Thrawn is there. He's plotting against them. I really liked Ezra using the Force to fight without a lightsaber. And then, but the most interesting thing about the episode to me was, once again, the character of Baylin. This guy let Shin go. He's like, we got different roads. What is going on with him? What's really his angle? They're saving it for the last episode, bro, and that's smart writing to do that.
Yeah, it has seemed like in the past 2 or 3 episodes, Balin's, I don't know if I'd say his motivation has changed, but he himself seems to have either changed
But we're
or
starting to
started to
find out what
reveal
it
more.
is.
Yeah, because like we saw how he was a lot more gray essentially when he was dealing with Sabine, but then he like locks her up and doesn't really like let her roam free. Then he talks about how he doesn't really align with the ideals of Thrawn and the new building up of what's going on. He's more interested in something else that's calling to him on that planet. And then this episode we see with Shin Hati, she ends up having a situation where she, I guess, is more tempted by the power that Thrawn has to offer and is more willing to destroy Ezra and Sabine and everyone over there. Whereas Balin's like, well, I'm going to go and do the thing I'm actually here for. So it is interesting because I think in the last episode, we had a scene or a moment where Shin was questioning Balin and the whole idea of them killing Sabine and Ezra after Thrawn was saying that. So it is interesting that she's the one who ultimately goes to try and do it herself. But at the same time, Balin is just going and doing his own thing. And that's really, I guess, the big mystery box right now going on in this series, which is what is he looking for? And it has to be, I think, at least somewhat comparable to Thrawn in terms of impact and importance. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep teasing it in a show where we have Thrawn.
And also, what about Thrawn? It's almost implied in the episode that he's gonna bail on them and go back
Yeah.
to the main galaxy, and then. But the thing is, if they go back to the main galaxy, at that point, is that gonna kickstart the actual war? Because we have to also think about the fact that we may have another season of Ahsoka. We have obviously Mando season 4 in the works, and we've also got the upcoming Filoni movie. And I remember I do want to discuss episode 8 here in a minute, but Thrawn seems to be wanting to dip and leave them there. So them
Yeah.
staying in that galaxy could legitimately explain why they weren't around during the sequel trilogy era and why they didn't help fight against the enemies, the First Order. But I'm not. That's still so many years away that it wouldn't make sense. I don't know. We'll talk. We'll preview the episode finale in a minute and give our predictions. But this episode, I think the problems with this episode was that it just could have been better. The lightsaber duel was fine,
Yeah.
but it felt unfinished. There were a lot of things that they could have done more with. But it did feel like they could have put a few more minutes into the episode. I'm not gonna say it sucked. It was
Yeah.
just, it was okay. Now, the
It was kind of like
finale.
a padding episode in a sense because like even at the very end Thrawn basically says the whole point of everything here is to buy us time. So essentially it's like the whole episode is him buying time so that he could leave with whatever his cargo is that they haven't explained yet.
Yeah, they haven't explained any of that yet. We don't know if it's gonna tie into Palpatine or if he has his own like secret plot. Or they did mention also. They took a reference from Mando season 3 about the evil the Imperial Remnant, how they're scattered around the
Yeah.
galaxy, and with that awesome scene from Mando season 3, and Moff Gideon, they're like, oh, Moff Gideon was on his own when we know he wasn't. So
Mm.
Thrawn's gonna be the guy to bring the Imperial Remnant together, possibly for one more big battle coming up, whether it be in the Filoni movie, which is what I'm guess they're gonna do, or in the TV shows. Because I think you kind of
Yeah.
want a big budget movie. You want to pay that off where people have to pay money to go see it in the movie theater. So episode 8, man, I this episode ended very abruptly. It didn't really have a big cliffhanger or a big teaser going into the next episode. It wasn't like dun dun dun, it wasn't any of that. Like for example, when
Yeah.
Ahsoka went to the world between worlds, I did love the training here with Anakin, but
Mm.
episode 8, dude, what is going to happen? Are we gonna get Ahsoka Baylin again? Is Baylin gonna die? Is Shin gonna die? Is Shin gonna join up with Morgan? Is are we going to see Thrawn return to the galaxy? And the reason why I bring this up is that I did a video with Josh from Den of Nerds a few months ago, and he discussed that there was a leak that Mando was going to end with Thrawn's army returning to the, I guess, the Outer Rim, or returning into being prominent and kickstarting the war. But what if that leak was correct, but actually for this? What if the final scenes of Ahsoka episode 8, season 1 or whatever, this last episode, Thrawn does hyperspace back to the galaxy and the war starts, but the payoff will be later. Like
Yeah.
begun the Clone War has, and there we go, off we go to war. Um, is that where they're going with this? And what's going to happen to Ahsoka and them? I have a lot of questions.
I I assume that's how it's going to end because the thing is, like, one of the biggest things I was thinking of during this episode is we have 2 episodes left and they're not making a lot of like plot progress here. So the thing is, like, we had the reuniting of Sabine and Ezra in the last episode, then we have them kind of reuniting with Ahsoka in this
Right.
episode, which again, like, I'm not really resonating with the on-screen Sabine or Ezra as much in this show compared to Rebels. Like, Ezra is all right so far, but like he's just like, I can't wait to go home. And he keeps saying it over and over. And I'm kind of like, are they going to kill him and he can't go home? Or like, is he going to not be able to go home? Like, why do they keep having him say this over and over? And then like Sabine is like not telling him most of what's happening. She's keeping it to herself. And with Sabine too, it's like, I keep like hoping there's gonna be like a big turnaround for her character and make her a lot more compelling. But it seems like she's almost like an overcorrection on Rey. Because like with Rey, she's perfect at everything. She's super
I
powerful.
said
She
that
could
in
do
my review.
everything. Yeah. And so with Sabine, she's basically like the opposite. She takes hits constantly. She sucks with the force. She's struggling to do anything basic. And Ezra is like kung fuing people basically with the force and then just stopping lightsabers with the force, which we only really saw like Vader doing in the Obi-Wan show.
Ray and Kylo did that in episode 9. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's true. So they also had a space-time bending lightsaber duel where they were in two completely different planets in different
That
parts
was
of the
a cool
galaxy.
scene. That I will give them credit. That was a very creative scene.
Yeah, so I doubt we're going to get anything like that here, but I just think that either they're going to all be abandoned, it's going to take too long, and so Thrawn's going to leave because they're at like what 85% already. So unless they get back to that ship immediately, they're not going to be able to leave. And then I assume in the next episode, Baylin will find whatever he's searching for. There'll probably either be a revelation of what it is or a cliffhanger, and we'll see kind of like, whatever he enters, like a dark temple or something, or he finds like an object. It's like,
Like a
find out in the
holocron.
next season. Yeah. Or like with Shin, I don't really know. She either could have retreated back to where Thrawn is, or she's trying to follow where Baylin is. In that case, I have a little bit more suspicion that she might kill Baylin and basically try and take the power for herself, and that's why he won't be around, and that's the way of getting rid of the character. But
Yeah, I
you
was gonna say
know,
Ray Stevenson passed away, so he's not gonna shoot any more stuff.
yeah. So that's what I was thinking. Either he's going to die in this season, or they're going to bring him back as either CGI or a recast. And the reason why I'm
Or
even
they kill him
considering
off on screen.
yeah, and so the main reason I was thinking of CGI too is because earlier in the episode we had the whole tribunal council with Hera, and she was like
The
talking
New
to the
Republic.
different the senators, and I kind of have a feeling that one senator who's against her probably is actually a part of the Shadow Council, or he's like somebody who's actually on the side of the First
A
Order,
double
kind of like how
agent.
they. Yeah, like they established like some of the people that used to work for Thrawn or like in the First Order and like Mandalorian. So I feel like they're setting something up too with like a shadow government inside of the New Republic. And so they had Leia send C-3PO, which was kind of a cool scene to see him again. And Anthony Daniels doing the voice and stuff. And basically, they have it being like, oh, well, Leia Organa personally authorized this, and she's like the defense leader. So I have a feeling like, I don't know if she's going to show up in the next episode or something, but I feel like they wouldn't have Leia mentioned unless they're going to have something happen where she or somebody from the original trilogy is going to actually show up either in the next episode
Well,
or in the
3PO
movie.
was that character. I think they put him
Oh,
there
yeah.
because if Carrie Fisher had not died in an alternate universe, may have actually appeared in this. You know what I mean? Like actually her there.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible, but I will say to your comment about like the Republic or whatever, you make a good point because episode two of Ahsoka really hammered home that there were people who were greedy, who wanted power, and who still believed in the Empire, and that was something that had kind of always been established after Return of the Jedi. People didn't just flip over to being Republic supporters. There were
Yeah.
people who were in support of the Empire. And actually, one of the few things I liked about Episode 8, there are a few, is I did like how Ryan Johnson illustrated there's people in the galaxy that take advantage of war, and because that's how it is in the real world. That is
Yeah.
literally how it
War
is. Like, yeah,
profiteers
no,
and the
yeah,
military industrial
no
complex.
matter what, who wins the war or who loses, they don't care. They're going to make money as long as they keep manufacturing weapons. And that is another layer of Star Wars that I actually really appreciate. That, and I knew it was always there, but he really hammered it home. And it was kind of discussed a bit in Clone Wars Rebels and a little tiny bit in the Bad Batch from what I've seen. I didn't see every episode. But, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, going back to episode 2, I think you might be right that somebody on the Senate could be a shadow member of the Shadow Council or could be, aligned with the Imperial Remnant. I don't want to say First Order yet because based on the timeline, I'm not even sure if the First Order's even been established yet. They're kind of vague. Where
Yeah.
the we know
It seems
we
like
kind of know what happens. We don't know exact dates though. I believe. I don't believe we
It
know
seems
exact
like
dates.
it's at least somewhat after the events of Mandalorian season 3
It
because
is
they do
Gideon.
mention uh Gus Fring in space and everything that happened on
Gideon.
Mandalore.
Gideon. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, they mentioned him. Yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, him. Great actor. But he, yeah, and so I just, I'm worried about them sticking the landing. I think this episode has to give us, the episode 8 has to not only satisfy the conclusion of maybe the Baylin storyline at least, maybe the reunion of the rebels, maybe they will all, maybe Ezra and Sabine and Ahsoka will reunite with Chopper and with Hera. I mean, who knows? Because they haven't authorized them to leave the galaxy either. There's a lot of this last episode's gonna have a lot of story they have to cram in to wrap this up, and
Yeah.
also some battles. Is Ahsoka gonna confront Thrawn face to face? What's Baylin gonna do? Is he gonna, like you said, is Shin gonna kill him? What's your prediction? Do you think Shin will kill Baylin?
Hmm.
Or will Ahsoka
That's
kill him? Or will
it's
Thrawn
tough.
kill him?
Like, I don't know, it's tough because like I'm guessing his character is gonna die because like it would be really hard to get around it. And so I mean they didn't kill Leia off in real life, even though Carrie Fisher died in real life. So like,
They killed
it's
her in
possible
episode
they won't.
9 when she died in the
Yeah,
bed.
like yeah, I think they ran out of footage at that point. But
Probably.
basically, scene missing and then she's dead. And then so basically it's like yeah, I don't know. Like I assume that there probably isn't enough time for him to go do whatever he's gonna do and get back to the ship. They've already talked about abandoning him there. So I assume that if he dies on screen, either Shin's gonna kill him and try and take whatever power he's after for herself, or whatever the power is going to kill him instead. It's like, I have awoken you, brother of Mortis or Palpatine or whatever. Okay. And then you die.
Well, it's not
And
Palpatine. It's not
now,
Palpatine.
yeah,
But what they could also
it's
do,
Snoke. He was everyone that was inside Kylo Ren's head.
yeah, including his masturbatory fantasies about Ray. But so the thing with Baylin too is what they another thing they could do. We didn't even discuss this. Is he doesn't die, but what they do is they continue his story in comic books because that's something that they've also
Hmm.
done where they continue these character stories in comics. That's another option they have, even though with Ray Stevenson, like when they first shot this show, obviously Ray Stevenson was not dead. He died after the show was already finished shooting. So either they could always change the ending because remember the Obi-Wan ending changed from what we had heard. There was the Obi-Wan ending. I believe that leak was real. I think the ending actually did change. I don't think that was just a wrong leak. I think that they actually went back in and decided because when Obi-Wan was first written, it was written as a movie and there was no season two. Now we know they're doing a season two. I think they
Yeah.
had to keep what's her name Riva alive for season two, even though she kind of took away from the show. If you ask me, her story, I
Even
think
though nobody wanted to see her survive.
it took away from the show. It kind of, if you had focused that show on just Obi Wan and Anakin's relationship, the show would have been much better. And that's probably what the movie was originally before that they had to stretch it
Yeah.
out. It's like Lord of the Rings. Oh, we're going from 2 Hobbit movies to 3. What we're gonna do? Add a bunch of bullshit. That's what we're gonna do, bro. More filler than freaking Naruto. So, anime reference. Obviously Thrawn's not gonna die. I don't think Thrawn's dying. I don't think Morgan's
Nah,
dying. Those
wouldn't
two.
make any sense. What would the point of having this whole show be to bring back Thrawn? It's like, oh, we kill him before he comes back to the galaxy. That would be terrible.
All I could think of is we think he's dead. Then the post credit scene he's actually alive. They might do one of those, something like that.
You have a
Yeah,
blue hand floating in space, and then they call.
yeah. A blue, and that's it. They fades out. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah. Do you expect to see another lightsaber duel in the last episode? I feel like they have to, honestly.
Probably, yeah. Maybe we'll find out that whatever Balin wants to, like, maybe there's like a tomb he's trying to go into, and the only way for it to happen is he has to kill somebody with his lightsaber. And then Shin shows up and he's like, I'm sorry, I have to kill you now so I can
On
get
some
in here.
Thanos shit, bro. You have to make a
Yeah.
sacrifice.
He has to
Yeah.
throw her off a cliff. And then, and then the next episode, the next season, Ahsoka and Ezra will try and jump over the cliff and do the exact same thing we saw ScarJo. And no, I'm going to do it. No,
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to do it.
sacrifice myself. I'll do it. Yeah. So, do you think? So you were talking about seeing a character from the original trilogy. I don't think we're gonna see
Yeah.
that. But do you think we're gonna see somebody like a Luke or somebody like a
Mhm.
I don't know, a DH Han or something in the last episode?
It's it's not impossible.
Mon
I
Mothma,
feel
I think we
like,
might see Mon Mothma. That's one I kind of feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been showing up and stuff. Her
Right.
later in the original, in not the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy.
In
So I like
Andor.
that little continuity. Yeah, and Andor. So they keep bringing her back. She looks basically the same she did 20 years ago. But it's kind of, with all that being said, maybe we'll get like something at the end. Like maybe like we'll get like a radio signal which will be received by the cast, and it'll be like, "This is Leia Organa, and I'm going to pick you up with my own space whale that I'm going to ride there."
You see,
I
the
don't
thing
know.
is, you might not be wrong, but let's not forget that the Emperor sent a radio signal in Episode 9. Well, first it was on freaking
Yeah.
Fortnite, the Sith will rule the galaxy again, which is something the Emperor would never fucking do because he's the Phantom Menace
Yeah.
and he takes over from the inside. But don't even get me started on that pile of trash fucking story. Don't even get me started on that horrible storyline.
The
But,
dead speak.
yeah, the dead speak. I am looking forward to the finale, and I'll be honest, part of me's kind of sad because I've enjoyed this ride. Like, this has been my
Mm.
favorite. We're not at the end yet, but so far it's been my favorite Star Wars Disney show they've done yet. It has been my favorite. Mando season 2, that's if episode 8 of Ahsoka is as great as Mando season 2 ending, which it might not because Luke's a very special character to me. I feel like this is going to be the best Star Wars Disney Plus show. But if episode 8 sucks, I think that title will revert
Yeah.
back to Mando season 2. I think. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's going to be really hard to beat episode 6 or 5 of this, where Ahsoka
They were
basically goes
both
back
great.
in time. And yeah, both those episodes were great. This one was not at those levels. So I mean, it's gonna be a finale, so it has to be really good. And I don't really
Shit
know
needs to
what they
hit the
could
fan.
do. Yeah, I don't know what they could do to trump it unless, like they just have Thrawn to strip killing main characters and stuff. But that's one of the things that will disappoint me. Like, let's say Ezra dies in the next episode. Not only did they not really do anything with him, but not just that, but like we'll be denied yet another reunion of like a cast where we didn't get to see Luke, Han, and Leia on screen together. And then we won't get to see like Ezra, Sabine, Zeb, and obviously we
Zeb,
can't
that's
see
right.
Kanan.
Yeah,
We haven't
you're
seen
right.
like a Force Ghost Kanan yet either. What if Freddie
Maybe he
Prince
doesn't
Jr.
know.
shows
Maybe
up
he
the
doesn't
next
know.
episode as a Force Ghost?
I wouldn't be against that. Maybe he doesn't know how to do it though. Remember, it's implied that not everybody knows how to do it. So
Imagine he's still blind as a Force Ghost. How much would that suck?
that would suck, bro. That wouldn't make sense either. That would not make sense. Maybe it's the world between worlds. So
It's like Mecha Frieza being in his mecha form in hell.
yeah, that's right. He's like stuck like that. Yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, it's I'm looking forward to it, but like I said, it's bittersweet. We got Loki right around the corner, so I think that, and that
Yeah.
I am looking. That's the one MCU thing all year I'm really looking forward to. So, time travel
Hopefully, it doesn't
hijinks,
have any major problems.
Owen Wilson freaking being there, bro. Yeah, hopefully not, because everything else seems to. Because let me tell you, the next thing after Loki is Eternals, not Eternals, Marvels, and
Yeah, I'm totally gonna spend money to see that in the
I,
theater.
I I think, well, I'm going to use the AMC thing to go see it, but I think that might actually be the biggest flop in Marvel history. I really do think that. I'm not even trying to be funny. I think that movie, as far as Disney Marvel goes, that could be the lowest drawing movie they've ever put out.
Yeah,
I just highly doubt it won't be. But we'll see. Anyways, Mike, thank you again for being here. I'll leave a link to your channel, of course, and let us know what you think about the finale of Ahsoka. 1 week, man. It all comes to an end next week. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you guys for that review. And I'm sure Mike and I will come back and talk about the entire season and talk about all that too as well when that comes out. So take care. See you then.
see you later.
Bye.